And I'm Austamate.
We're going to be doing a race at the Entropy Center. It's a cool puzzle game. It's got a big intro, so might as well just explain it while it goes. So, oh, oh, don't click on it yet, because it loads up the game immediately. Doesn't tell you. Alright, so ready to start time soon?
Yep.
Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so...
Let's go!
I might want to hold W. So, the Entropy Center is a bit of a long puzzle game where you have a gun that can rewind objects in time. We'll kind of explain that as it goes. Has a bit of a long intro where you just kind of hold W for about a minute and watch the Earth explode. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Kind of hard to explain much of the game without the game really being there, so apologies. I couldn't select a chapter because I hadn't played the game before. But it will not be too long before there's actual gameplay. But should be a bit underestimate. I might as well go over. I'm the world record holder for this game currently with 1:42.05 for the no major glitches category. I think you're like second or third? Third, okay. So not too far behind, like less than a minute behind, so should be close. So now we actually get into the game. Short cutscene first. Game loves its cutscenes. But momentarily we can get to doing stuff. So yes, it's also a bit of a wonky lore that I guess you can go into because I don't know much of it. Alright.
Good morning.
In a moment.
Adams. We hope you had a restful sleep at the Entropy Center.
Unfortunately not the end of the cutscenes for this game.
Where am I?
Please find your timetable.
So first we have to open the door here.
Exercises on your personal
Go through, the
computer.
sensitivity's a bit high, so I might turn
What
it
is
down.
going
And the
on?
elevator coming up, which unfortunately is another sort of semi-cutscene for the beginning. So I'm going to quickly throw it down like 0.5. There you go.
Oh,
So yeah, that is.
anyone?
At the beginning here we can start with like a small bit of time by jumping up here and moving along.
Entropy Center staff announcement.
Keep going through that door.
50.
Nice. Chapter, we got the game's split up to about 15, 16 chapters, depending if you count chapter 16 per chapter. And one, which is the one we're in obviously, is one of the longest. I think it's like 7 minutes compared to the 2 minutes in the next one. Which yeah, includes a lot of downtime, unfortunately. We've got another sort of scripted cutscene that you have to wait through before you can open up this door.
Hello.
Meet the cute robot.
Should I be afraid of you?
We get to the door here and finally get to some puzzles at least. Won't have the entropy gun yet, but that's not for another few minutes. Well, not a few minutes, that's really exactly like 1 minute. Start with a quick cube throw, hopefully, onto the button. Usually get that first try, unfortunately. But moving along, about to get into another cutscene, which is lovely. Right about here.
Is anyone there?
So, donations or anything is pretty much the start level is all free for it. It's a lot of downtime.
Please stand well
We
clear
had a
of the
$10 cash donation from the audience. No comment.
And would you know it, another cutscene. And it's amazing. I don't ever really like realize how many cutscenes there are at the beginning.
There's quite a lot.
Kind of just like wait through them because not having to talk the entire time.
What is this?
We get to meet Astra, who is our instant gun.
Very nice to meet you.
Why did you
Helps us
shoot
through a
out
few
at me like
puzzles.
that?
But mostly the
I
gun
did not mean to
is
startle
Astra.
you. I have just been inactive for a very
We're
long
about to
time.
use it, and we can
My
kind of
name is
demonstrate what I mean by
Astra.
rewind
I am a
objects in
puzzle
time
exercise assistant, or P
into
for
the
short.
past.
Wait, what?
I can't really
You are
hear
now
Astra.
in possession of a
It's
handheld
sad.
entropy device
Maybe
capable
you
of
might be a bit
rewinding
quiet.
objects into the past.
You may have noticed that my door didn't exactly open when I
Give it a
wanted it to
try.
earlier. Sometimes on some PCs it just
Nice to meet
decides
you.
the doors don't work
Nice try.
99% of the time.
Yeah. For me at home, there's like specific doors that lag to open, despite being on low graphics with a pretty decent computer. Well, maybe not like high quality, but like
Well
decent
done.
enough to run
You
the
did
game at
great.
low graphics.
Deploying emotional support.
But hopefully it's a really nice switch. What I'm used to.
So can I use this? Or
there you go. You can see like rewinding objects back to the past to make that bridge come
The
back.
handheld Entropy device
Eventually we'll be able to
holds
rewind our
enough
own
power to
objects to
rewind static objects
solve the
up to
puzzles,
200
but
cubic
first we
meters
have to
in size.
get
So,
the puzzles to
Astra,
solve them,
do you know what's
which is a
going
lot of
on?
walking,
Where
unfortunately.
is everyone?
I promise it gets a little bit more interesting after the first
may or
level.
may not be
I think.
experiencing some
It
minor
does, yeah.
technical difficulties, but do not let that alarm you. Our puzzle
It's another
operations
cutscene,
may continue as
unfortunately.
normal.
Minor difficulties.
How many
Looks
cutscenes
like
to
no
the
one's
first
been here
level?
in years.
Got this one, and then
What are these
after
puzzle
this little
operations
section, I
anyway?
promise there will
The
be a
puzzle
puzzle.
areas
and a
to
few of
generate
them.
entropy energy, of course. It is my core
you have to
installed
ride an
directive
elevator
to guide
first.
and assist staff members through the puzzle areas to generate entropy
Right.
energy and make a better
Get game audio a bit
tomorrow.
louder because I can't really hear it.
Okay, Astra. Just why can't I remember anything? I
Okay,
don't
game
even
2 is like.
know where I am.
I am not sure.
Oh, probably 'cause you
My
can
hard
hear
drive
it.
also seems somewhat
Can you hear
corrupted.
game? Or
I have just submitted
Okay,
an appointment
that's
request to
why.
medical for you.
Fair enough. I forgot
Okay.
to be playing both files at the same
Just
time.
keep
So there's a
going.
bit of
There's gotta
overlap
be
with
someone
audio.
around.
But here we finally, after who knows how many minutes, we get to demonstrate the first puzzle and
Do
use
not
of the entropy
stand
gun.
underneath falling
So
debris,
we can
unless the intention is
throw
to
this
get
box
crushed.
onto this first
Thanks, Astra.
button,
That
move it over
wasn't the
there,
intention.
and use the gun to just, if I can click, move it back onto the button for us and move along. And that is pretty much the entropy gun. We will introduce more puzzle elements as we go on, but obviously introduction to the mechanics.
Congratulations.
normal key
You
puzzles
just
and
completed
buttons.
your first official
Do an
entropy
early
puzzle.
rewind there to try and
You
move
finished
across
in
a
the
bit.
top 5%
Earlier,
Nice.
of the
that
50 staff
a bit
members.
sloppy there, but
Oh.
oh well.
Well,
And
there's
another
always
one
room
where
for
we
improvement, I
throw it
guess.
onto the button. I'm not good with the Throw on the button, ride another
So,
elevator.
I used to work here
common
or
thing in
something.
this game.
And what are all these rooms?
The Entropy Center database shows
Another
that
one.
you are an employee,
Throw it
a
onto the
junior
button.
puzzle operative.
As
You
I
are
said,
currently
does get
navigating through puzzle
a
areas.
little bit more
Section
interesting
01.
as we go on. I do that on a bit early.
Hello?
Just
Anyone?
that should be good.
No life signals
That,
detected nearby.
never mind.
Just bushes.
Yes.
Note, bushes do not respond to verbal greetings.
Try that again.
I gathered that.
Preemptively rewind it so we can jump across a bit faster and drop it onto the button over there. And get to the first little actual skip of the game, which skips a cutscene of sorts. A very, very, very slow
Great
carriage
work.
ride
You are making
up the
excellent
next
progress. Continue
section
heading
here.
to
So
the
instead of
puzzle
going
areas.
into this, we
Hopefully
can
should find
jump
someone
onto the
soon.
railing here and jump over and just walk along this railing. Some things will fall, but we don't really need to care about them at all. They will not really interfere with us at all. So, almost the first level done, which is nice. We do have a bit of a reset checkpoint here. That, for some reason, when we're going to reset checkpoint here to skip up to that platform over there,
Please keep arms and legs inside the entry
reset,
transfer
the
beacon
checkpoint that
at
we
all
reset
times.
at is for some reason a lot further forward in this version, which makes 111 slightly faster for this, but then in almost every other act of the game, 107 comes out faster. So what we're going to do here is ride this debris that's fallen from the ceiling up here
Warning, light bridge
and
detected.
skip that
Please
little
vacate
section where we have to deal with an entropy
Water
bot.
level is rising.
Well, no, I don't think it's an entropy bot. It's a panel. Yeah, that's a panel. We can fly up the geometry there and skip that little section and finish off the level if I can click. So we get into actual puzzles rather than just throwing cubes around and hoping they land on buttons. One thing that's only a trick that we can do at the end of this level here is called a fade skip.
All analysis
Don't think it'll be
conclude that you
like
have most
faster
likely
RTA,
survived.
but in this elevator,
next
once the
time,
level starts fading out,
Maybe give a
you're
little warning,
technically
Astra.
in the next level according to a checkpoint, so you can reload and you'll end up in the next level. I think it saves like 30
Alright.
seconds or so,
Let's keep going.
but
30
There's
seconds.
someone
30 seconds? That's what you told me. I don't remember. I don't ever do phase skips because I forget. But obviously in RTA, because you have to go menuing and everything, I don't think it'll be faster. But I'm on to the next one here. We use a quick audio trigger to get past that flame and I forgot what these are called.
Control panels.
Control panel, yeah. we can use those to open up doors and rewind them. I don't know if they're broken or something,
That
but
entrance door over there requires power.
finally, puzzles.
Corrective.
So we can
Look around for a
actually
nearby
do some
power
creative
device.
solutions too. So this one, we can place it near and grab it through. I think that's intended. We can throw it over the buttons. I don't know how many of these we do intended. I think majority we do unintended, with a mechanic we'll introduce later called air jumping, or
Puzzle
double
element
jumping, one of
introduction.
the two.
Time gate.
But for
Traveling
now,
through a time
until they're
gate will
introduced, we
remove
just
all
have to
stored rewind data from nearby cubes.
throw boxes around onto
Note,
buttons and
you
rewind them.
cannot take entropy cubes
So
to a
here,
time
we
gate.
can...
They will get incinerated.
I think this one's also intended. I'm not sure.
It is, yes.
Okay, cool. We'll use that to drop that onto the button to raise us up. And past that one. Now this one is one of the reasons that 107 is faster. There's a few reasons. But here, we don't even have to solve the puzzle. If we just get to the end, the door that looks locked will just sort of open. Not sure why, but that was patched out in 111, so we'd have to solve the puzzle.
Oh, great.
And honestly, I don't know how to do it. I think we looked it up before the run just in case, but I've already forgotten. Here, the platform's trying to drop it onto the button. Try and get it as far over across as possible, but a bit slow, unfortunately. But that's nice enough for me, I guess. And the final one, which is a bit finicky for me. I've screwed it up, started screwing it up a lot lately.
I can't do that. It goes completely
where are you
against my
up to?
programming. And obviously
That one.
no entropy energy
I've
would
had
be
some bad
generated if you
loads.
knew the solution, of course.
Yeah, my loads haven't been too bad, thankfully. But here, we can kind of juggle these through the barrier.
Congratulations
And so when we
on
put this
finishing
one
the
back,
puzzle. You
they will now
completed it in a
both be on
below
the
average
edge.
speed.
And the reason I suck at this one sometimes is
detecting
this
excessive
fizzler
amounts
is
of
supposed to
cognitive function
like
and frustration.
destroy
Do
objects,
you need a refreshment?
and sometimes it just decides to without
Thanks.
an object interacting
You're
with
welcome.
it. That's not on the button. Okay, thought it was. But that's Act 2 done a lot faster than the first, around 3-ish minutes probably. How much screwed up? We do a bit of anomaly strat there. But I think they're around the same speed, maybe a bit faster for yours, but
Sound good.
again, I don't know how to do it.
It's getting worse.
Now 3 is another one that unfortunately has a bit of a long waiting section at the end. We do have some puzzles, leading up to it, but
It's
until
about
then,
2 minutes of cutscenes for 3 minutes of puzzles.
yeah, pretty much. And I think it's spread out across 2 levels. You have this, oh, thank you. At the start, the end of 3 and the start of 4. So there's like 2 major downsides to this game. It loves its cutscenes and have them like whenever it can. And the checkpoint system, or checkpoints, are incredibly spread out, and you have no way of telling until you've hit them. Which does make fade skips a bit weird, but
That really is just
do a quick
you.
strat.
Wait.
This one I'm going to do a safer strat for. There is one where you can basically jump from where we're
Puzzle
going now
element introduction. Jump
up
cubes.
around to the end,
Stand on
although
jump cube to
the
launch
jump
yourself
is
upwards.
incredibly
jumping.
inconsistent.
Hey, Astra, are
So
you sure
I'm
there
not
isn't
going
a
to go
shortcut
for
or
it.
something we
We
could
can
take?
throw it onto there,
The
and
whole
while it's
center
coming
is
back,
made
go
up
through
of
the
puzzle
door,
areas. Trust me.
and rewind that
This
one
is the
onto the
fastest
button
route.
and go
Additionally,
through.
as you
I
are
may as well
having
introduce.
trouble
We just found
remembering, I am
we're
authorized
introduced
for
to
you to
bounce
complete our
pads.
new employee
They
questionnaire.
like
Question
little
1.
trampolines you
What
can move
is your
around,
name?
and we will be
Aria.
using them
Full
a
name.
lot
Aria
later on.
Adams.
Question 2. What is your
Using
age?
this little,
27?
I wouldn't call it a glitch,
Wow,
but a double
you
jump,
look great
where
for
you can
your
rewind
age.
them up into the air,
Okay.
and then jump
Question
off them
3.
again to get
Have
a lot
you had
extra height,
genocidal,
which
world-ending
is
tendencies or
pretty
thoughts in the
nice.
last 6 to 8 months?
It's also another
No.
reason why
What kind of
111 is a
question is
lot
that?
Question 4.
harder to run
Do you
on
like
because of
cats?
something called funneling.
Note, jumping onto a jump cube from a
Because
higher area will
you can,
spring you further.
in
Just
111,
remember
these
to
will
bend
like
your knees
try
when
and
you
suck
land.
you onto the platform to make sure you don't miss it. But that makes double jumps and air jumps a little bit jarring if you're not used to it. But unfortunately here comes the long cutscene or long inactivity section. I think it's more to provide like story to the game, but speedruns, so story doesn't really matter. And unfortunately, there's no way to skip cutscenes in this game. You just have to kind of wait through them.
we
So if you
close?
want to kind of consider what you're doing, but kind of around where I
My
am.
analysis
So
detect that we are one puzzle
might as
area
well take some
away from the main
donations
control
or
deck.
anything like that.
Okay, good. Quicker I saw
We don't have
place.
any new donations at the minute,
There.
but I would like to point out that we are raising money for Game on Cancer, a charity which funds early career research into cancer, who are working across areas of cancer research. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ausspeedruns.com. That is donate.ausspeedruns.com. And if you are in the audience here at the Games Expo, there is a donation jar. You are welcome to put cash donations in there if you do not have any money on a card, but please.
Alright, so you may have noticed the Earth is like exploded. That's part of the story of the game. I think it's like something happened to the Earth and we use our large entropy guns to continuously rewind Earth.
Those cables?
That's convenient.
There must be a way to
I don't know
activate
why
them.
that stopped rewinding.
Emergency calls have been
That is an example of how horrible the checkpoint system is in this game.
Yeah, you can, that would have led to a death, so have to wait through that all again, which is lovely. I don't know why there is not a single checkpoint, you know, after you hit the button or the trigger or go to the door or whatever, but there aren't, unfortunately, and that can lead to quite devastating time loss in multiple sections, including the start of 4, where it is incredibly easy to die if you're not careful. But we get to watch the Earth explode again, I guess. Third time. Yeah, I might take the time. Basically, yeah, we have big entropy guns connected to the center, and we rewind the Earth over and over again, but we ran out of entropy, so entropy energy, so we couldn't do it again. So we now have to get basically complete puzzles, get entropy energy, and save the Earth. I'm not really caught up on the lore or story of the game. I didn't really pay attention, but
It's not very well explained, but basically the humans screwed up the Earth and we do these puzzles to generate entropy energy, which is basically drawn from solving the unknown. And we use that to rewind the cataclysmic events that the Earth has. But for some reason we can't rewind this one properly because the humans can't fix it.
Directive. Head to the power reactor for maintenance.
Thank you.
Complete recommended puzzle areas along the way to
I'm
charge
finally
the
done this
entropy
section
device.
again.
Astra, I
Unfortunately,
don't
there is more
understand.
waiting.
What's happening to
It-
the Earth?
Yeah.
Stay calm. We
Start of
can
the game is a
still
bit
rewind the
slow,
cataclysmic event.
unfortunately.
Okay, but
Like,
this just doesn't make
levels are
sense,
short,
Astra.
but they're also just
It
full
will
of
be okay.
cutscenes.
You have proven yourself
Um,
capable.
Okay. Thanks.
I don't think the
Astra.
game has that many cutscenes,
Let's
does
keep
it?
going.
Like,
Once we get past chapter 8, there is one.
yeah, at the end of, oh, I think we skipped the one at the end of 12. There's one sort of at the start of 13. Nothing too major after this. But yes, you might take over commentary now that you're a little bit ahead.
I can
actually
try.
can explain what's going on. 'Cause I've got none. Now we both have nothing, but
Observation. Puzzle
The start of
operative
4
looks
is a minute and
concerned.
5-second long
Deploying
cutscene
emotional
that we
support.
just
Hello,
have to sit
Aria.
through, can't
How
even
are you
walk
today?
around.
What's your favorite color?
Thanks, Astra.
We do
Fine,
end up
just
getting rid of cutscenes for a while though, so
That
It's
device
not too bad.
can rewind Earth.
Exactly.
Okay. And then what?
Once Earth has been rewound
the reason the
time,
one
entropy
in
center
4 is like
automatically
easy to
sends
die to and
everything
can
into
lose like a
Earth,
lot of
allowing
time
them to
is
realign their timeline or
if you stand
cause
too
an
close to the
outburst.
front of the
Right.
elevator while it's going
Well,
up, you
let's
can just
hope
kind of get
so.
like caught and sucked through the floor. And because there's a death trigger at the bottom of the
This is not
elevator, you will
level
then have to
4. This is a
re-wait
wall.
through the cutscene again. So,
that's what happened to your world record, isn't it?
but I've never got to the one in 3. I'm still not sure what
Why
happened
are
there.
you screaming?
The bridge is supposed to stay there, as far as I'm
I
aware.
thought that's what we were doing.
I must not have rewinded
I
it
think
fully.
I saw an opening a few floors up.
But
Directive.
yes,
Try
no, both in the
rewinding
fun
lift.
cutscene.
The final cutscene.
But fun, not fun, unfortunately. Yes, you can explain what's going on in 4.
So there's not a whole lot happening at the moment. I'm kind of just rewinding the elevator to get to the main section. Here we go past some entropy bots, which is foreshadowing for later, as they become one of the most
We are
annoying
located in
parts
puzzle
of the
areas
entire game.
201 on level -4. This is the fastest route to the
Specifically
reactor.
like 13 stuff, where they're just overpowered and can just, and with paired with a bad cutscene system, checkpoint system, you can lose
Minutes of progress.
several minutes to 13. Yeah, alongside
New
the
puzzle
cycles
element
and stuff.
introduced.
So
Springboard. Stand
4
on
introduces
springboards to launch yourself
springboards,
forward.
which basically they spring you. It's not much to them really.
Whiplash part of the
Like
experience
catapults, I
too?
guess.
We do skip a lot of the puzzles though. This is where a lot of the major puzzle skips come in, like me just getting on this wall instead of going through that door.
Thanks for looking out for me.
Would you also like me to make an
There's
appointment
also a
with
lot of
doctor about your
PowerPoint
funny shaped hair?
presentations that are scattered around the map that you can interact with to give more story.
But once again, not really worth going through them.
Not really, no.
Did you see that?
Here we're meant to get
See what?
that springboard
I don't
activated,
think
but
we're
for
alone.
some reason the developers left in a ledge so we can just walk straight to the end of the puzzle, which becomes quite a common theme later on.
Yeah, a lot of these we start like seemingly self-intended, but as we go on, intended solutions will become like a lot rarer, and even some that might resemble a intended solution.
Yeah. So here I have to make a jump that I don't usually miss, but I have missed twice now.
Sometimes creating a
Wonderful.
black hole, and then
It always makes me panic, and I don't usually miss it though, but this is why. There we go. So that stops us from having to get this jump cube that I just bounced off and going the entire way around the level.
I've had a bit of trouble with that puzzle recently for no given reason.
So have I. I have no clue why.
And it's not necessarily like the jump, it's the bounce pad. Because for some reason, occasionally if you jump on like the very edge or middle of a bounce pad, I can't remember, it'll just halt all your momentum for no given reason. And I know I've lost like at least 3 runs to that just refusing to
would
work
you like
for
me
me.
to remove this word from my
I think I've got
vocabulary?
a more consistent setup now, but like even
There,
then,
do you see
it
that?
scares me.
I
Because
don't
it is
see them.
a
All
decent
I see
walk
is jet.
back up if you fail
So
it.
much jet.
Hey, cut it out. Seriously, over
So
there.
you'll get to the end of 4.
Hello?
Oh no, come back please.
Anyone there?
I
Fun
think
You
I'm
might want to
Center fact,
explain that
people
puzzle.
used to say that the Entropy
True.
Center was haunted by ghosts.
not
Yes.
like that.
That's ridiculous.
Little
Ghosts in space?
don't know why I'm lost for words. We can use the catapult and barely get it past there. I think it was discovered by accident, just in like a random race with Tess. Not
think
me,
so.
but Tess discovered it in a race. I can't talk. Don't know, I just couldn't say words. But yes, that's the end of 4 now, goes into 5. I think I might have failed that. Never
Damage
mind.
detected to
But
storage
I think that
area
might be the
5
first
caused by
air
Maria
jump.
That's the
Adams.
first air jump
A
that we
repair
do.
bill has been
So
deducted
you
from
can
your
bounce
Entropy
off
financial
the
account.
edge of a
Astra,
bounce
this whole
pad in
place is
midair to
destroyed.
also give
I
yourself
don't
height,
think this makes much
and
difference.
generally used where a double jump wouldn't be convenient or faster or even possible.
New puzzle element introduction. Extendable bridge.
So there is a
Enable
number of
input
glitches
to
in this
raise
game
bridge.
that we are not going to show because we are doing no major
I'm gonna
glitches.
wake up any second.
But this room that I am in
These
currently is
puzzles
one of
have been
the major
meticulously
points,
crafted. Thank you.
as
Okay,
it
what's
allows
going
us
on?
to
Why
rewind
puzzles?
multiple
I'm
objects
glad you
at
asked.
once.
Puzzles are the most efficient way of generating
And
entropy energy. It
we
examines
can even
the
use it
volume of
to bug
information
through
available in any given
doors
event.
and
The more
stuff like
certain
that.
or deterministic the event is,
But
the
it
less
allows
information
for
it
that
will
puzzle
contain.
to be
More
done
clearly
without
stated,
having to
information
rewind,
is an
I think, an entire
The
cube.
process of solving an unsolved
Yeah, I'm not
puzzle,
really caught up on
particularly in the case of
80%,
using
so
entropy time
I know, like,
manipulation,
soup jumps and that's
encodes
it.
and reveals high entropy
Haven't paid
information,
attention to the route.
which can be used to generate entropy energy.
A lot of this game from now on, until we get to the later levels,
Generate energy.
it's just a lot of
Then
getting a
rewind
bounce
Earth.
pad, placing it high enough so that we can just double jump off it and get to the ending like this.
Yeah.
It does get a bit more complicated as we get closer to the end, but for a lot of the mid-game, that's all it is.
A bit of trouble with rewinds here, which is a bit weird. Not rewinding. Not sure. Or have you
Everything's
chosen
so
my strat?
destroyed.
I know you were talking about how you just couldn't get that one working at some point.
I could not get that strat to work for the life of me for a very long time, but
Yes, I know, but it's the same.
as you can see, I can get it decently
No,
reasonable
not
now.
correct. You are on the moon.
Yeah, but
What you meant to say
And
is,
right
what
there was
on
a bit.
moon
The
happened here?
bounce pads are just like generally buggy. The game
It's
itself is generally buggy. But if you jump onto a bounce pad too soon after it's landed, it'll just like not bounce you. And that's really convenient for double jumps, because obviously if you can't jump off of it, you can't double jump off of it. And getting the timing right can be a bit annoying, but I think it gets it pretty. Can't think of the word again.
Did you know
like
cats regulate their body temperature by
Consistent.
purring? Doing so
So
increases
this
muscle
puzzle
use,
has
which in
been
turn
the
increases
bane
body
of my
temperature,
existence
creating
for
a
a
healthy
long
and
time.
regulated lifestyle for the feline.
I
It is
didn't
also
get it.
widely speculated that cats purr as a healing mechanism.
Why
It's a
are
bit
you
of an
telling me
awkward
this? Shouldn't we be
air
trying to
jump.
get out of here?
It is one of the
Detected you
worst
were
air
subscribed
jumps
to
in the
Entropy Cat
entire
Facts.
game.
Do you wish to unsubscribe?
There is very specific positioning that is needed to hit this and land on top of that pipe. I am not getting it.
I can throw it out. So.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
It's very specific, and given that I am not on my normal computer, my specs are a little bit off.
Like that. I forgot to rewind it. Should look something like that if you get it first try. Or and if it lets me drop the cube. That'd be nice. Sometimes it likes to drop inputs with dropping cubes, which is a bit annoying. Particularly in some sections that I can't recall right now, but yeah.
It does get quite annoying in later levels when timing is crucial for dropping the cubes.
Risk this a bit. Just try to push a bit more time up. 'Cause I think I'm slightly behind still.
Yep.
Oh, and once again,
Note,
saying not to hit the
Entropy
button.
transport system offline. This will take us
It's a
towards
bit of
the
an annoying
reactor.
game to run,
Maybe
but
those switches can activate it.
it's also nice at times. It's generally inconsistent and buggy, but hopefully it doesn't go terribly bad. We've got quite a low estimate because of how much we've improved since submitting, so we should still be fine no matter what.
So what I did there was I jumped on top of these chairs to get into this area, which activates the trigger to get this thing to move, which has to hit the level and trigger down the bottom. Now what I discovered the other day that Perigon knew about for ages, we can just clip back in if we want to.
Yeah. I don't know how I discovered it, but it was probably like probably in January that I discovered it right as I started playing again. It doesn't save at time at all because it's the tram that has to hit the trigger, not you. But it's nice to be in here and feel the weird physics of this game that sort of multiply as you jump. Not sure why, but
You missed.
So at the start of 6 we have a cutscene.
yeah.
This is the first level that I have a world record in instead of Perigon.
Well done. That took you 48 attempts.
It's mainly just, this is where we get introduced to bridge cubes, which act as bridges.
Yeah.
So the catch with them is you can't hover them in air, they have to be placed down properly.
Maybe there are some panels nearby.
And even then, sometimes they don't want to work.
Yeah, particularly if they're at like a little bit of an angle, they can be quite picky. Which isn't too much of a problem for 6, but more 7.
Yeah. Which you'll notice later.
That's not good. I'm just gonna let that go all the way down. That's not necessarily a hard jump into that room. I think I just mistimed it. But unfortunately, there's not really a way to jump back onto it, so we have to go all the way back down. I'll try it a bit safer. There we go. We're actually getting the door. It's kind of in the same room. Oh, that. Don't know why I stopped rewinding it. Not focused.
Don't worry, I've done that so many times before.
I'll just catch up with later levels. God. Particularly with how much experience I have with later levels. Like 13, which I will be doing considerably different routes for 13 when we get to it.
Yes. They will be doing risky 13 and I will be doing safe 13.
Yeah, which could save, I think
New
it's like
puzzle
almost
element
2
introduction.
minutes by what I could
Bridge
see
cube. Place bridge cube
roughly
in
2
stationary
minutes,
position
yes.
to
Yeah, I
create
don't-
bridge to walk
gain
across.
2 minutes or lose a lot more than 2 minutes.
Yes.
Because
Bridge cube
as the name
novice badge
suggests,
has been
it's
added to your
considerably
Entropy badge
risky.
collection.
Hit the cycles, we can get into that when we get to 13 later on.
So these are the bridge cubes, as you can see, don't work until I place them down. And if they are even the slightest bit off, they will decide not to work.
I think yeah, that's what I want to do.
So we need to make sure that they are placed well on the ground and not even turned upwards the tiniest bit.
One thing I should actually mention that I think we were talking about how it's going to be missed. We can press R and remove the rewind of a cube. It is gone over so quickly that we didn't even like realize. I think it's like one pop-up on your screen.
It is one pop-up the entire game.
And if you miss that, you probably will not realize you can just reset cubes. Pretty vital knowledge that they go quite over, kind of miss over like we did. But that does let us do some. I guess it kind of makes it a bit faster at times because you don't have to worry about like looking at where the cube is placed on a button.
It definitely makes it faster. Ooh,
Save it on a button.
I think I lagged off the edge there a bit, but
Got stuck in a corner. But yeah, another double jump over here. Probably already seen this because I'm behind, but I don't know if we went over it.
hopefully I don't
Interesting.
lag off the edge again.
Surprised they saved that. Okay.
There we go. So
Yep.
we can't do that in current patch because there is a fence like this one, except it extends all the way across. I just realized I have to redo this.
Yeah, they seem to have, in the latest patch, they seem to have patched out a lot of the speedrun routes. Like, there's one in, obviously in 6, there's one in 12 as well. That's just fenced off for no given reason, other than it being a speedrun route. Which is a bit annoying, but we're on the earliest patch? Is this earliest patch?
The release patch, yes.
Yes, not fairly sure. That's why we're on release patch. Because funneling doesn't exist and the puzzles are slightly easier. But we get to go now to my most dreaded section of the game, Silo.
Does this guy say anything
Where
else?
we have to escape the falling apart silo, and I quite often die here because it is a pain.
Time death is when the health of the
You'll
center
just
is
slip
threatened,
off
which
geometry
could
for no
result in
reason.
becoming non-operational and
Jumps aren't
non-repairable.
necessarily
Then
hard,
there would be
it's
no
more
way to
just
rewind time, and Earth
you
would
might
be
just
lost
fall
forever.
off
How do we
for
stop
no
it?
fault of your
Head
own,
as fast
because
as
the
we
physics
can
is
to the
getting a
power
bit
reactor.
weird.
We can't enable the entropy device
But
until
here we
that is
go into
repaired.
the
We're
terminal.
getting close.
Not die. Do it a bit risky because this first section is necessarily hard. Like, you can ride that up and go a bit faster if you're not stuck inside of it. But here is more where it starts getting risky because we basically fly up this fallen bit of geometry, and right here. Okay, no.
Reach the top of the silo via stairwell.
Nice.
That doesn't sound good for me.
Oh, I still got one bit of geometry to fly up. This one again. Slanted surfaces in this game are also a bit weird because up to a certain extent, clown surfaces are fine, but suddenly you just can't, and particularly when you're flying up those pieces of truss, if they're slightly too rotated, you can just slide off and have got nothing you can do about it. You just kind of have to reset, unfortunately. But that's 6, moving on into 7, which
Well done, and thank you for not getting me
kind
wet,
of just
Arya.
like, besides the end of 7 is sort of just a level. There's nothing too interesting to it, nothing new is necessarily introduced.
It is
Oh, it plays
definitely my worst level.
Yeah. I think no, lasers aren't introduced.
Lasers are 8.
8, yes. So we just get to use more bounce pads. This is sort of where another bit of version difference is air jumps. They're not necessarily the air jump is jarring,
Detecting
but
breach in
because of
puzzle
funneling,
area
it makes these,
0701.
if it let me
Recommendation.
rewind,
Leave puzzle
landing
area to
next
find
to them,
quicker route to the
like,
power reactor.
what we do here is we
have been
pause it
directed
and then
off
fly
course
back to it.
Oh,
It will just
breaking
pull
the
you back
rules?
and you'll fall down,
Sure you're okay with
and
that,
it is
Astra?
incredibly
Yes,
finicky,
it is
which
okay.
is another reason
given
why
the
funneling is not fun.
circumstances.
I'm not sure if it necessarily really helps,
Would actually be
besides
quite
80%,
nice.
which is
It
why
wasn't for
80% on Atlantis,
world.
because you can use funneling to your advantage to sort of like move yourself faster, like funnel yourself forward in a way.
I'm not seeing any way to get
Can't demonstrate
across.
that.
Any ideas?
Sort of a glitch.
Not yet. I will scan
guess.
for nearby
It
rewindable
is,
objects.
yes. Good. So 7 is
Alrighty.
possibly my
Nice to see
worst
you
level
again.
in the entire game,
Have you met before?
It looks like
and that
people
is
used to
because
have
of the
fun here.
second last level.
Second last? Oh yeah, second last with the catapult, yeah.
Yes, because we do something for the first and only time in the game, which is redirecting using a cube, and it is severely inconsistent.
For you.
The Entropy
For me.
Museum.
This place has a museum.
Might as well also go over that as we skip. We kind of just like skipped a few puzzles, one or two, by jumping up the side of that railing with a jump cube. They're not necessarily hard puzzles, but it's an easy skip, so we go for it. And it's
Look,
just a
we can just jump over.
bounce, it's
No
not
one's
necessarily a
here.
glitch.
Okay.
But once again, we get to a bit of a walking section into a cutscene, pretty cool in this game.
I don't think there's anyone left alive.
And then get introduced into entry bots.
The Entropy Center
Yeah,
has stopped.
which is the thing that's introduced, I forgot.
And
Surprisingly.
rivers.
Entropy Center is
Rivers, yes. Entry bots are not really good at all.
This one.
cataclysmic
They
event.
shoot little pellets at you that you will die to in 2 hits.
Wait.
And if there are multiple, you can die in like really quickly with nothing to do. Particularly if you get like caught by them and not really realize they're there. It's not so much of a problem in 7 as much of it is later on in the game in like 13, where it can really screw you over, but they're still, you know, annoying to deal with. There are some little bot triggers you can like
Come
jump
on.
over
Let's go.
in 7 to skip them, but
Hey there.
not necessarily time save as much of just avoiding annoying things.
that makes
So
2 of us.
again, if donations, if there are any, then now's the time. Cutscene.
I don't have any new donations at the minute, but I would like to point out that we have some incentives on the go. We have the Spyro Year of the Dragon reignited. Spyro color, green is at $50, black $5, pink $5, but blue. Where are ya? I don't have anything for blue.
Yes. Right there, you kind of see you can actually throw the bots if you pick them up. Like that. I don't know if it's necessarily useful anywhere to like blow anything up. Or I don't know if they can even blow each other up on impact. But God, my rewinds are screwing me over here.
You can, but it is incredibly risky to do it that way.
Just wait little damage boost from one good point, one good use of entry bots. I discovered it on accident, and I don't think anyone else cares about it. It saves like maybe a second or 2, but I like it, and I discovered it. So. And it's like the only trick I've discovered, so I'll take my name for it. But here we go, rivers. You are in this game. You die like instantly to water. Like the moment you touch water, you just immediately die, and it is really annoying for some sections. So if like one of your bridges decides to fail you mid-walk and you fall into the water, you have to restart the level, which paired with bad checkpoints can also lose you a lot of time.
Note, do not place self in river
Hopefully that
unless
won't happen,
intention is to drown.
Particularly in the one that you struggle with, it is a bit of a annoying thing how fast you can die to rivers. Yeah. Do another double jump up to the end. I think I struggled with this puzzle like the most in my first playthrough. Like it took me probably close to a day to solve, and I don't know why. I think it was because I was going for some stupid jump that was very unintended, and I just couldn't get it to work. Either gave up or eventually had the jump work, but thankfully I don't have to do a hard route there. Here is the hard box redirector we were talking about. So we get across the bridge here and drop it into the river to bring it down to us. And there's no alternate strat where you like catapult it over, but
I got sand in my shoe.
so we place a box there, we can walk into the catapult and grab the box, like that, and bring it over to the end. There is a bit of a less risky strat where you don't grab the box and grab one over there, but I'm consistent with that one, so I take it anyways.
Okay, well that's not good.
I also don't do much of a setup, which is a little bit risky, but it works.
Thank you.
I know you do like a bit more setup than I do. Final level of 7 here, which I recently found a semi-setup for the end, which is why we were talking about bridges not wanting to work a lot. Because we take a bridge across this platform and into the river, and we're basically going to make a bridge all the way up to the end, up there. And the old way of doing it, which is very, very not
I got sand in my shoe.
different from my
might
way.
just-
Please maintain appropriate
Was
footwear
just
during
directly in
all
hope,
puzzle
put it
exercises.
directly
Oh,
up the
okay.
platform, but if we
Maybe
place it
some
slightly
flip-flops.
to the side,
What if I do it anyway?
it likes to
What are you gonna do?
like
I will
that,
stare at you disapprovingly.
kind of gives you a nicer
Okay,
way to get
well,
up
that's
there.
not
But
gonna
you can see, like, even
Okay, okay.
maybe not
Appropriate
full,
footwear
3
at all
attempts for that
times.
is like
Got it.
pretty good.
Thank you.
First try is obviously the best, but yeah, that bridge can lose. Like, I've lost like at least
Warning,
30, 40
unstable
seconds
rocks
to that
ahead.
one
Note,
bridge
I
multiple
see a switch
times
down there in the
because
river.
it won't,
There must be a way to
you
activate
know,
it.
make a bridge for me. But, you can see that you didn't do the grab the box while you're redirecting, were you? Yeah, you can see how much slower that is and how much you have to walk. But, wouldn't you know it, there is another long cutscene we have to sit through. The start of 8, unfortunately. I forgot about this one, but I think besides the start of 9, this is the end of cutscenes. Hopefully, I think.
I'm fairly certain, yes, until we hit 13.
Yeah. Which 13 isn't much of cutscenes, it is just cycles. Oh, and there you can see, water will just instantly kill you. Very annoying. And as you can see, starts back at the immediate start of the level.
You need to pay more
I guess there's not really
attention.
a place for a
No
checkpoint there, so it's
problem.
reasonable,
Object
but
detection increased to 200%.
yeah.
Sometimes the cubes just don't come back up the water,
Yeah, which is
and
why
they just stay under.
yeah, which is why I like to just go to the end to make sure it's at the top of the water. But here is the first sort of instance of an item smuggle, I guess you
New
could
puzzle
call it.
element introduced.
Normally,
Laser
we
cube.
can't do those in
Laser
NMG
cube
because
can
it
enable
requires
laser
lag
input.
abuse
Safety
to
notice.
get it through
Please do not stand
object
in front of
deletion
lasers
triggers.
for extended periods
But
of time,
here,
as it
if
may
we
cause a
rewind
tickling
it into
sensation
the laser,
Doesn't sound too bad.
hopefully.
caused by yourself disintegrating
Someday,
at an
please.
exponential rate.
Nice. We can bring it through the door and solve the next puzzle with it, because there's no object deletion trigger here. I don't believe there's any other place you can do that in NMG where you can item smuggle, but we get to do it at least once.
Entering
Yes,
puzzle
laser cubes are
0802.
introduced in this level.
There is one bridge cube and
They're
one
as pretty
laser
much
cube
as it
and
says.
one
They're a
door
cube that
and
has a
one
laser
button
that
and one
doesn't
laser
sort of
input.
disappear like a bridge, which
Yes.
is nice.
Very helpful, but
Um,
please stop.
Object detection decreased
Yeah,
to
you put them into
150%.
receptacles, solve puzzles, and yeah, they're not really that interesting.
You could explain the lag that comes along with them.
Lag? Do you mean lag abuse?
No, the laser lag.
I have not experienced laser lag. Unless I'm like blanking and don't know what you're talking about.
So sometimes when you place lasers, they can be hitting the receptacle and you can reset them, so they go back to that point. But because the lasers like to lag, sometimes when you reset
Enable the
them,
switches to remove lockdown.
they will not be hitting the receptacle, which is really annoying for speedruns. Because a lot of the time we will rewind things to exactly where we need them. So if they're a bit behind, it throws us off quite a lot.
Where's my... What? No, don't... Okay, this bot room, I should mention, is incredibly annoying. Probably the most annoying room in the game. Not only because there's bots that will just target you, but obviously getting the cubes across is a pain. Particularly the way I'm doing it with like a lot of juggling, but like even then, I've had experiences where I've been carrying the cube and just been hit 3 times. Fun, because I just couldn't, you know, fight back. Like that. There was nothing I could really do there. And back immediately at the start. Further back, annoyingly, but that bot room in particular is... It hadn't necessarily been a run killer, but it can theoretically be a massive run killer. As you saw there.
Directive.
So
Enable the
let's do that
switches to
all
remove
over again,
lockdown.
hopefully a bit more clean. So I like those. The reason I throw this one over back there is because there's 2 receptacles we have to hit. Hopefully they'll come back. Nope. So this first one is, you know, more self-explanatory now. I've got like things under control. But we can fly over back here. Just ignore that one. It's 5-2 hits. And this one we don't actually have to hold it on the button. We just have to hit it. That's unfortunate because I just completed it and wouldn't you know it, didn't save anything. So we're immediately back again.
So Perigon and I both do different routes for this. They do a lot more juggling than what I do. I generally just grab that one, put it on the receptacle, and then bounce over with the next one,
Directive.
which can get
Enable
me
the
hit,
switches to remove
as you're going to
lockdown.
see. And it can throw me off quite a bit. But it's only bad if I'm going for ILs usually.
Where I can, generally you don't want to like carry objects over this like jump, because if one of these pellets hit you, you immediately drop what you're holding, and that can throw it like away from where you're holding into a really inconvenient position, and you have to rewind it back. But finally, 3 attempts I'm done, and you've taken the lead once again, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, this game is incredibly inconsistent, so anything could happen.
And false
Earlier there was a red one.
Yes, we,
What's with the
for this one, I don't know if you
job?
explained it because I was talking. We use this ball to sort of reset it for us instead of having to press R and move back and forth. So we have time to place it on the button, rewind it, and move over to this. So when it hits the receptacle, we're already on the elevator and we get to go up, which is pretty cool.
So this strat I'm doing now, I think was discovered by you. So instead of, it is quite annoying, but instead of going all the way around the map, as you can see, it's quite big. This is going to be a very sketchy one. I'm not going to continue it. But instead of going all the way around the map, we can just jump onto this section here. I am not getting good luck here.
Yeah, you have to get it placed. If you get it over too far off the edge, it just likes to flip over. And obviously if it's flipping over, it gives you more time you have to rewind, and that can make the jump a lot more finicky.
This is also a time where if the rewinds don't work properly,
Let's hurry. We can't let that
like
reactor
letting go
become
of
too
Q
unstable.
doesn't actually let go of the object like this, it screws you over heavily.
Yeah, and pressing it as well. Pressing, clicking it and rewinding it isn't necessarily much of an issue because you can just retry. But yeah, that strat, I've like gotten mildly consistent at recently. It is quite annoying. It does save like a nice bit of time if you can hit it well, but you have to hit it well for that to save time. So I'm ending off 8 now, moving up into 9. See my vid off, just like, there you go. That should be it.
Yeah. So as you saw, I got it that time after many predicaments.
Yeah. Moving on to 9, which you have to do a bit of an escape sequence for at the start. Running away from these bots.
No.
Nothing too interesting. Again, might as well explain that puzzle with the momentum from the catapult, because I kind of skipped over that.
Warning.
So here,
Approaching your position.
we don't do it yet, but we use this cube to open this door and then let it fling over more so we can use it again. I don't know if that part's intended or not. I would assume so.
I think it is. I think that part is intended.
So we use that so that we can grab the laser cube and turn this on.
You are surrounded.
So here, we're going to launch the laser cube and immediately try and rewind it back to us so that we can go over ourselves. So here, we can rewind it a specific amount
Maybe they just want to give you a big hug.
so that it is... I didn't get it.
Unfortunate.
But you can rewind it a specific amount so the momentum that is gained when it is launched like this is kept, which launches it all the way over to the end with you. But I am having severe lack of timing today.
Okay, thanks. As you can see, I'm now in another one of the little bot sections. I guess they're called
Which-
lockdowns. This one isn't as bad. It can be still, bots. They're a pain, but not as awful as the 08 bot room was. So we can mostly just ignore them, to be fair. They're not really an issue going through the puzzles. But is there an introduction to a new puzzle element this one? I think we've gone. We've still got tall cubes. I don't know if that's this level or next.
Full cubes are next, yes.
Right. But now it's just what we've seen before, just puzzles. This one, I know you do a like a wildly different strat to me here, which you can explain. I just do like a pretty easy strat. by putting the bridge over and pulling myself over to the other side of the river. That is incredibly close. Oh, that's... No, thank you. That's not what I meant to do. I guess I can... I can't even get that back because there's a wall in the way. Lovely. So I'll try that again. Hopefully not press Q instead of jump. Common mistake. So we'll put it back there. Again, way too close to the end for my liking. We can also bring the cube over, which this is mostly intended. I don't know of this strat where we bridge over there. I assume this one's actually fully intended. I don't know how you'd solve it any other way. It'd be nice if rewinds worked. But unfortunately we didn't get a nice little skip there where the bridge goes through the door. I think it's slightly stopped. I don't know if you can see it. Slightly stopped by the wall. The fastest way to do that is to have it make a bridge up to the end, save a bit, like a second maybe. Pretty cool, but we didn't, unfortunately didn't get it. And no, tool cubes are introduced here.
New puzzle element introduction.
Tool cubes are the only object that you can't like physically rewind its position, rather rewind like how tall the cube is, I guess. Like that, you can rewind it up to the top to bring ourselves up. They aren't too useful post 9, I don't think, because I mean you can't rewind them; they don't have too much of a use.
So the strat I do for this section is getting on top of this plant to entirely skip that whole section and just put a bridge directly to the end, which is a lot faster. But sometimes I got really lucky. That plant just will not let you jump on it, because collision in this game is terrible.
I shouldn't. Yeah, that was oh, I think I can still reach it. Yes.
Barely.
Sweet. Okay. So here we can do a small little strat by placing it just directly into the laser. Yep, nice. To open up that door, the little gap that I saw me struggling through can be a bit of annoying, bit of a pain, but not the worst. 0904. This one I am not good at all, but I also don't know an alternative strat to do. So I'm just gonna have to do the pretty hard strat.
The only alternative is about 2 minutes longer.
Yeah, this one is either you do the hard strat or you just purposely go slow. Which even starts, this jump can be annoying for me. You get it right on the edge of the button to make the jump over with the cube. It skips having to go through or set up that door. And here is the annoying part. You have to jump around and hit it into the laser and then rewind it and hit the laser again. I usually use an audio cue to see if I've hit it, but I think I saw some green there, so I'll see if that worked. So you ring around it through, because all we need to do is get through this door. There we go, okay, good. I did hit. Looks like I hit that quite well. I didn't need to do it as many times as I did. But I think this is another bit of a waiting section. It does have a lot of it, a lot of dead space in this game. Not even really used for story purposes. It's sort of dead space.
The game likes to have a lot of cheap gags.
Shows a lot of parallels to Portal.
I'm not a
Few of
sunflower, Astra.
sorry, few of its jokes, including Astra itself, a garden with a talking companion, like potatoes.
Concentrate, Astra. Maybe now is
But
the right time.
it's not like egregious, so it's not the worst. And there's not too many jokes and steals, thankfully. But here I only like remembered. Sorry, rewinds weren't working there for a sec. I only kind of remembered the strat for this room like yesterday. I was doing like a slow strat. We can use the little geometry over there to make it grabbable once we get up to that platform. And use it to trigger that button and go to the end. And once we get back up there, we'll be able to grab it again. Which might also mention, I don't know if it's not necessarily like important, you know, I think you have infinite rewind. You can only rewind objects a certain distance. So this is already like pretty far from what your gun's capable of. I think it's like 36 seconds is the maximum time you can rewind. Do you have infinite
I
rewind?
think it's 30.
30, 36. One of the two. But it's not really like a problem throughout the game. It's just something I might mention because it's about to change. Just won't have to worry about it. I don't think it would even matter if it stayed. I don't know if there's any long rewinds we ever do. But here is a bit of an escape section again. A bit more annoying. Particularly if you have to do another debris climb up the top. Yeah.
Recommendation, take a run.
There's like for this little escape part, there's like multiple different strats you can do. It'd be nice if I could rewind. I'm gonna do what I think is the fastest. I'm not entirely sure I haven't timed any of them. But
Side skip is fastest.
alright, if we don't fall down, I can't undo the rewind, which is lovely. If you don't fall down, you jump across and basically just go to the end instead of having to like deal with a ton of other bots. We avoid them where we can, because they're quite annoying. Try this again. Oh,
Recommendation,
deal with
take
that.
a run.
But try this again. I think this is another one where we kind of go into the carriage early, sort of,
Yes.
at the end of the level. I don't know if we like legitimately ride any of them, or except for 5, but that we don't even solve the puzzle to get in. We kind of like make ourselves comfortable inside this carriage, whatever you call them.
The trigger for end of level in this part isn't in the carriage, but there is death triggers everywhere along this part, so the only way we can actually hit it properly is if we end up in the carriage like that.
Directive, Entropy transport system can be
Boy.
activated via 3 power switches.
Close race.
Considerably closer than I thought we would have thought. Means I might gain a considerable amount with Risky 13.
Yes.
Half expecting to lose lots of 4 and 5, but 10 is generally one of the most fun levels.
Confirm that we are close to the
It's
reactor.
as fun as this game can get, I guess. There's nothing terribly difficult or inconsistent, and it's a ton of just bouncing around on bounce pads.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the start jump, there's like nothing.
Congratulations.
The start section,
Your proficiency with the rewind
I'll explain it when I get
increased
there.
174% in the past 4 hours.
Good idea.
And
But there's
Entropy
been
is
times
the
where
badge
the game
that
is just
sets your
completely
records.
broke on me and hasn't given me any of the things I need.
Right now.
I fell.
That jump across the bits of geometry over there, which is nice. It's a bit. I've gotten used to the jump. I don't generally screw it up anymore, but it is.
I'm not used
Annoying.
to doing it safe.
I let go of that ring went too fast. I guess this introduces these panels that you can conveyor belts. I guess I had a bit of trouble with them, but you can rewind them back in time. So I'm gonna pause that one so I can check you, and I'm gonna have to do that safe because I can't get up.
So there has been times where I've gotten to this and none of these boxes have spawned,
Oh,
which has been bad.
I've never had that.
I've had it a
Wheel
couple
puzzle element
times.
You should just go there.
Conveyors. Use conveyor to transport goods in a linear
But
direction.
a lot of this level 10 is just about the conveyor belts,
Yeah.
which don't really come up that much after, from what I remember.
Besides like 13, yeah, which
Hmm.
they make like decent use of them. I don't necessarily remember them being used anywhere else.
Oh wait, oh I didn't do that, did I?
You should be able to just like cue it down. Oh, did you not put it over the button? That would help. I thought you meant you didn't place it directly on the button. Right.
Note, conveyors
And
can
here's
be used to
another
increase your speed
not
if you
introduction,
walk
sorry,
on them in the
another
same
appearance of
direction
the air
of
jump over a double jump. Double jump across, just ignore that one if you don't need it anymore, and finish it with a double jump.
You can do that section without even picking up the
You're
cube,
welcome.
but it's very finicky.
Rewinds are just not wanting to cooperate with me today, which is annoying. There we go. Now we got up. Not usually that finicky, but moving on to which one? Ah, this one. This one is a bit annoying because there is a bit of like strat, where you kind of trigger the button and take it off the button at the same time. If you time it well, there we go. It's like, okay, it's like the redirects from the in 07. We grab it as we go on the catapult to bring it with us. That, hopefully make it onto the catapult. The catapult, the conveyor, yeah. To jump across there. I don't know if you can go through that. I think there's a faster strat where you just kind of jump through the barrier, but don't pull the cube through and pull it around, but I don't know how to do it.
I don't think it's much faster.
No, it'd save like a second at best while being incredibly risky. This is probably like the hardest one of 10, I'd say. You have to do some like parkour of this really thin and annoying geometry. As you can see, I'm not doing too well with it. Doing a lot worse than I usually do, but have to jump around that one. Stop both the lasers, and that first opens the door, then rewind it back, and that lowers the elevator. And then once the elevator's down, we can just drop it, and we go back up. 10 is like one of the like shortest late game levels, like considering how late it is in the game, being like 4 minutes long.
I think the only one shorter than it after this point is 11.
True, and that's like seconds slower. The rest of them start to like ramp up quite considerably in length, particularly like 14 and 15, which I think collectively make up close to like 25, half of an hour.
14's not that long.
14. What am I thinking of then? 'Cause I know 10,
13 and 15 are very long.
Yeah, 13's 10 and 15's also 10, so they're on the longer side of levels, but that's 10 done. As I said, nice and consistent. Don't have to worry about it most of the time. We're on to 11, I think. Yeah, 11. I can count. Which is, I think, the only one beside 13 that I don't have IO world record in, because I just don't like playing it.
And 6 and 9.
And 6 and 9, yes. 9? I thought I got 9. No, you have 9, you have 9, yeah. But with 11, it's not necessarily inconsistent
Entering
either.
staff quarters.
It's
We need to
just
find a way to the top
sort of
floor.
boring. Like 10, but less
Oh, hello
interesting.
again. I would say it's
Sort of just double jumps. Have I triggered E? Yeah, I did. Okay, good.
same.
Again, invisible trigger
We're trying to get to
is
the top.
way too close to E, I think.
Help?
But after a small cutscene, it's the bridge shot down,
Thanks, Steve.
climb up. I think we climb up like the
Thank you,
entire,
fellow friendly robot.
well,
Nope,
not the
new
entire
route
floor, it's
lets
that
you reach
green
top
sign.
floor.
The entire floor up to, you know, where there's actual floors and not just ceiling. Yeah, pretty straightforward. We bring this jump queue over with us past this section to do a double jump. If we that and rewind the queue, we can bring it over here and do another double jump up here to get to the top.
Hey, turn that off.
And
Static charge to await
preferably
feature
don't press
cannot be
Q way too
disabled.
early.
All allocated puzzle exercises
There
must
we
be
go.
completed during the working day.
Yeah. Generally, like 11, nothing really happens. Oh, no, 11 doesn't have incinerator. Not incinerator, reactor. That's 12.
Of physics.
Oh no, 11 is the introduction. I forgot.
Element introduction.
It introduces
Transformers. Take
these,
an entropy cube through a
which
transformer to change
rewind
it into
cubes. I'm gonna
another
have to
type of
rewind that.
entropy cube.
Rewind cubes. No, they changed basically what cube you have, so we can change this laser one into a bridge one.
Safety
to
note,
go
walking
across.
through a transformer will not
Again,
turn you into an entropy cube.
pretty
But for
underused, I
extra
think.
safety, please don't stand near the
A lot of these
transformer
later
for
ones they don't
extended periods of
really
time.
use again. I know they used a lot in like 15,
Mm.
but like
15 we skip over a majority of the, I guess, elements.
yeah. And as I showed, that's like the one downside of the sort of transformers is if there is ever a transformer that you can make a bounce cube, you generally just make a bounce cube and go to the end.
You don't have
That
any
seems to be a lot of the puzzles near the
Have
end,
any arms?
but yeah, there's not too many past 11, thankfully. Yeah. And as I said, along with the puzzle elements aren't like gone over again. Tool cubes have almost just not come up again, I don't think, unless I've like forgotten in the last 2 minutes.
No, they don't come up again until 14, I think.
That's cool.
I don't remember them in 12.
Yeah, no. So they introduce puzzle elements and then just don't use them again, which is a bit weird. To be fair, like bridge cubes aren't, or tool cubes aren't that useful.
No.
It'd be hard to implement them to a lot of puzzles. But no. Please rewind. I don't actually know what's going on. That's not good. I have to do a double jump again and rewind the cube. Q again. Yeah, this is generally one of the least inconsistent maps of 11 acts. Well, not acts, it's either maps or chambers, depends what we call them. I don't think they have like an actual name.
I think they're chapters.
Or I mean, not acts, I mean like the individual puzzles in each
Chambers.
chamber, okay. Yeah. Again, another one where there is a blue transformer, so we make the cube we're given into a bounce cube and just bounce to the end. There we go. Or, first they actually have to land on the button. I don't know how it managed to go out there, but generally that's why we put them, like, do double jumps over buttons, is so they land on the button after we're done double jumping. I am having trouble with this. There we go, okay. And no, I don't need to rewind that one. I'm not sure why my double jumps are going bad all of a sudden. Because I might just not be clicking enough with the mouse. Actually, this one's a fun one. It's like the best part of 11. It's like the second use of a redirect in a way. Not with a cube, but if we balance that bridge and use this laser cube to hopefully trigger the laser. Someday, there we go. We can then use this to bounce ourselves up over onto this bit of grate and jump over to the end, which is nice and fast, if you get the laser fast enough.
So you may have just seen me launch these green cubes and make an explosion happen. Basically, they're called demolition cubes, not really used for puzzles, so I don't know why they're here. But they're meant to be used for construction, but we can just use them to blow walls and bots, which becomes important later in the game.
These are not part of the puzzle exercises.
I don't think they're ever really used for puzzles necessarily. They're just kind of
No.
an addition.
They're very utilized in 13.
Yes. And I think 13 is the only place where we use bombs to actually save time.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just to blow up those walls. We can do a little skip here where we jump over the wall. Did you go over there?
No.
Okay. You can jump over the wall there and just fall down to the end of the elevator without having, so you don't have to wait through it. It's not terribly long, but it's also not terribly hard, so might as well go for it. Oh wow, I saved a lot of momentum now. That was nice.
That was really good.
That's like the one nice use of demolition cubes is you can use them for a boost in speed. And for there you can use it as damage boost to throw yourself further towards the button. In 13 use it to skip a trigger. And I think Incinerator Skip also uses it. I
Yes.
think that's it. We'll get to Incinerator Skip when we get to it. It's not a fun trick to pick up.
Entropy fans will create a wind vector away from its origin.
This one, I think it also introduces fans.
Yes, fans.
Possibly the final puzzle element. I don't know how they'd introduce more.
It is, yes, the final puzzle.
Analyzing body weight. You are of an acceptable
We use that to trigger the receptacle up there
Enough of that.
and go into the most inconsistent puzzle in the game. 1202, because this initial catapult doesn't like to work well. Neither does my rewind, I guess. Okay. Normally the bad thing about that is it won't stay on the conveyor. Thankfully it did for both of us by the looks of things. But yeah, that catapult can just refuse to function and lose you a lot of time because you have to go over there and fix it up. And it's a hassle, so glad neither of us got it. Just going through the puzzle, bringing the cube back up to us. We've moved it up there, and move the cube up there, then we go over there and bring it back.
You're not up there yet.
No, I'm not. What am I doing? I think I can save this. Normally you place it on the button that I went up here for, like that. That triggers the fan up there so we can bring ourselves up. Thankfully, I don't think that's going to make me restart the puzzle, but it'd be nice to pay attention. There we go. To bring yourself up here and bring the cube back to me and place it on the button, move along.
there is a bit of a faster route that you may have noticed I missed, but instead of going back down to place the cube on the button, you can just go straight to the conveyor by jumping on the wall. But it saves maybe 5 seconds at most.
I have not seen this try. Interesting.
I thought I'd shown you, but oh well.
Oh well. We both made it, so it's fine. Ouch. Oh, where's the... I'm very confused right now. Because yeah, you die in 2 hits, so you have to be very, very wary of bullets. And if you don't know where they're coming from, they're a massive pain. You can go over the version difference, I guess.
Yeah, so what I just did, I jumped over a gap over here. In the new version, or the updated version, there is a wall in the way, so we cannot actually make that jump, which sucks because it's quite handy.
And it's another one of those things where it doesn't seem you'd have any other reason to patch it but speedrunners, because no one in their casual playthrough would be making this jump.
It is quite difficult.
Yeah. Like you can see it's taking me a few attempts.
Oh my
Quite
god, we're gonna die.
tight like that, there we go.
There is always a way. I believe you, Laurie.
Pull it back,
Oh,
pull it
that
into the
someone
laser.
does.
Move on to the next puzzle, which is not
How did I
that
end up
bad,
here?
really. It's another one that's kind of just in the background.
I am
Like, throw it up. First, throw it up
But have fun,
there. That
Maria.
should do. And
You have
pause it.
proven yourself very
So when we go
capable.
through
Once you
this,
rewind
it counts
Earth,
that
you
as its
could
start
safely
position.
return
So when it
home.
falls
So
down,
tired.
I hope so.
we can just pick it back up again
What about you?
and move along, which is
What are you
nice.
I'm not sure what my
If you weren't to
purpose is
pause it
if
up
there
there,
are
it
puzzles
wouldn't,
to operate advantage.
you know, rewind back up
I
there because it
guess.
wouldn't have
I
reset
may
it
like
there.
to see what exists
So,
outside the Entropy circuits.
Pretty
You should come
important
too.
that you have
Earth
it
can be
close there. You
nice,
can
from what I
place it like
remember.
on the
Yes.
platform
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I
would like
did.
to
that.
begin with, and that makes it a bit better, or a bit faster, but it's not really an issue either way. This strat may seem like I'm aimlessly pushing it across the buttons, but it's for this, because that moves it. If we rewind it, get launched, and then land on the platform at the same time, it has to go back and forth to make sure we actually have time to land on it and get catapulted. But you might be able to go a bit over incinerator skips. Oh, sorry,
It's reactor skip.
reactor skip. Now you're getting to it.
So I am approaching one of the biggest skips in this game. Skipping, what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, around about.
So this is also another skip that Perigon found. I
I did not find
that
this.
that part you did.
I
you
did
find
find that as well. I saw that from the IRL record, so
That's the first time I've seen it. But upcoming, if I don't fall. So normally what we would do is we would create a bridge over to the reactor, which is the big sphere over there. And we would initiate a cutscene, which is 1.5 minutes long, which we don't really want to do right now.
minimize the cutscenes as much as we can.
So this skip hits a end of level trigger, which is randomly placed on top of the reactor. This cube doesn't want to let me on. There we go. So there is a trigger at the very top of this reactor, which is it's quite scary to go for sometimes because you can slip very easily.
And yeah, this will be another period of devastating time loss
Yes.
because we missed the checkpoint. So it's even further back than it should be. So you gotta hope that you got it, which isn't good.
Yeah, I could still slip, but I'm hoping I don't. So what you can do, you just work your way up. You want to try and avoid these big poles as much as possible because if you hit them, you've got to jump between the things, which is scary. I am going to hit it though, so the end of level checkpoint is here for whatever reason, which skips a 1.5 minute long cutscene, which I'm sure yous are thankful for.
Yes, because I think we've had enough of them. Like at least 3 minutes. 3
Yes.
And I'm okay as well. Oh, hit.
Oh, that's...
I'm gonna have to different route here because I'm not used to this. There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
And the only reason you have to be risky there is because the glass that seems to be there is you don't have collision for. So you will just fall through if you're not careful. and 13, which is possibly the hardest level if you do risky strats.
Definitely, yes, definitely.
Because the majority of this level is cycle based. So not only is the fastest way to do cycle skips, but they are very difficult cycle skips at some points. The first one I see you're doing isn't terrible, particularly with the new setup. But
First fews are quite easy, but the further we get into the level, the riskier they get. I think there's even a couple you're not doing, like the conveyor skips.
oh yeah, conveyor skip I'm going for. Yeah, there are just an abundance of skips you can do that aren't necessarily always worth it. I'm going to miss the cycle because I can't get on the railing. That is unfortunate. So I'm assuming you got the fast cycle there.
I don't think I did.
Oh, unfortunate. Well, neither of us are going to show off the fast cycle there. If you do it well, you can barely catch that as it's going up again and save I think it's a cycle, which is quite convenient. Unfortunately, both of us missed it because it is quite difficult.
So here is where conveyor skip would be. Neither of us are going to do it because it is extremely precise. But what it would do would be skip this entire puzzle here, which is quite handy because it's a little long.
You do have to wait for cycles to go back and forth.
But you walk on the edge. It is very close to being a major glitch because you walk on the edge of bounds. But the community has decided it is not a major glitch, so it has been kept in.
Am I going to make this cycle? Yes, I could.
Barely.
Yeah. I had some trouble jumping on that conveyor. But yeah, as you can see, you can barely get time to hit that button to do this a little quicker. And it's gone back up. And here is where more of the considerably hard cycle skips are, and precise ones that I will be doing.
Yes, and I will not be.
And hopefully hitting. Because, you know, it can save like 3 cycles if I do this next one well. I save 1 cycle to the cycle skip and then another one right after it. I think I'll have some leeway, but I don't know. There's very little visual cues for when you jump to here. Because basically, if you can see, a lot of this the cycle is breaking and rebuilding the area. And so I'm going to ride a bit of broken geometry up. But because I can't rewind it, I have to basically time a jump over. Yeah, okay, good. Time a jump over, land on this bit of wire, and jump like that. And that skips multiple cycles like that. Surprised I hit that so well. I didn't expect to hit the second one there.
That was very close.
But as you can see, I've now gained...
Cycle?
Yeah, I've gained... As you can see, I just went past that. And so... Well, she's down there, I'm now up here. Despite being behind not too long ago. So that's how influential cycle skips can be if you hit them. But they are also, as you could probably tell, quite hard to hit and very tight timing. So not always worth going for. Thankfully I hit them well.
Yes.
And now, surprisingly for me, that's not the worst part of 13. Not too far from here, we're going to be facing some horrid bot RNG, which is what we were foreshadowing earlier, because we don't have an entry gun to rewind their bullets, so we just have to hope that they don't shoot us twice in this section. Because the checkpoint is here, so we've got to do that one nice. And then multiple more sections of bots. One nice thing about this is there's so many that their damage can actually like go over top of each other, like they'll shoot. Like, okay, I thought I'd be fine there. I thought they both hit me at the same time. They will like go over top of each other. Like if they hit you at the same time, it'll count as a single hit, which is
Like
nice.
there.
Yeah. Get past them just with 1 hit. Preferably, I try and dodge it with the wall, or it gets reversed to it, sure. But So you try that. This fan, use the reversed wind of the fans trying to jump down the end. There is this alternate strat we make the bots use their own pellets to shoot them with the rewind function. So there we go. As you can see, 2 hit me there, but only 1 damaged me. And that just makes that section a lot easier to deal with.
This section here is terrible because if you don't move while in the air, you will die.
Yeah, you have to purposely adjust because the catapults aren't very well positioned. We're about to get into possibly the most boring part of the game.
The worst part of the game.
I don't say worst, it's boring. It's not hard, but it's just boring. Where we're basically going to do a loop 10 times over of just clicking doors and computers. So a lot of time for donations and anything to mention here.
Well, we don't have any new donations at the minute, but there's a few incentives. I've already pointed out the Spyro Year of the Dragon, but we also have Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Choose Blythe gender. There's nothing on that incentive. So if you want either male or female, please donate. There's also the Diablo 2 Resurrected Secret Cow level. We're only got $20 on it. We need 500 to make that happen. So if you want that to happen, please donate. Reminder, there is a donation jar if you are doing cash donations, or you could go to donate.ausspeedruns.com. That is donate.ausspeedruns.com.
Sweet. So one thing that I forgot to mention about this is that at the end of this hallway, the game can crash and has crashed on me. So you gotta hope that doesn't happen. It hasn't happened to me more than once, but marathon luck, it could
It happened.
very well happen.
I think the only time it's happened to me is my first playthrough. It crashed 5 times before I could get it to work again.
Yeah.
This door was not unlocked. That was weird.
But it's that door that you can't see through is the one that likes to... Well, not that it likes you, but it
It's
can.
the second one, isn't it?
It was the, like, last door for me that I couldn't get through. Maybe it just kind of crashes at any of these doors. But, you're in the walking section again.
Yeah. 13. A lot of 13 is just a walking section. We do get back into puzzles after 13, which we shouldn't have much longer left.
Yeah, no. It's sort of this, and then sort of scripted cutscene, a cutscene, and then more gameplay. Not necessarily puzzle, but more gameplay. So you can just rest while you prepare for Incinerator, skipping bot RNG.
So this upcoming part is where bot RNG is the worst, as there is times where you physically cannot pass. You will just be stuck.
Yeah.
You just have to accept that you're gonna die and either reset or deal with it.
There is one bot trigger skip that I'll go for, that spawns some bots. I think there's 2 theoretical ones. One I haven't been able to hit, but one I will. Does make the end Incinerator skip a bit easier to set up. But yeah, that section is horrid for RNG. There's the earth if you want to see it. The roof. Not explode for some reason, but
I don't remember if it does.
I know it doesn't look like it explodes, it's kind of just there. I don't know, that's because it's like cycles of like rewinded the earth for us or whatever. Something happened and it's back to normal, but it will not be back to normal soon.
What's over there? You see something?
It's both in a bit of a cutscene.
This should be the last
that
one of the run,
Astra?
unless we miss this next skip.
Besides the end of 15, yeah, I think so. I also like barely ran through the game in my head as much as it looked like I was. I didn't really run through 15, but I don't think there isn't 15 at all. I
Okay.
think this is
I can do
thankfully
this.
it for the
It looks dangerous, so stay here.
long
okay?
cutscenes. Thankfully.
Okay, that works too.
Yes, what makes this section difficult is how many bots will spawn here. And because you don't have Astra to rewind any of them, they can just like gang up on you like that.
I think I killed myself there with the bomb.
And yeah, as you said, as the bomb also deals you damage, so if you're too close when blowing them up, you'll damage yourself and not have a bit of leeway to blow them up. And you only have a limited number of bombs, so that's not even going to hit him, is it? Okay, good. This is the only part of 13 I'm properly safely. Because it just sucks. I can dodge that first bullet like that. This section you generally want to have full health for, because one of these bots can like be ready for you to whip through there. Thankfully it's not. There. We're gonna kind of intercept with the bomb. And here is the first sort of bot trigger skip. Okay. Oh! That could be bad. That could be
very bad.
That could really demonstrate how bad this game's checkpoint system is. I now have to do all of that again, because there was no checkpoint at all. And I was maybe 3 seconds away from hitting one, but unfortunately that's not 3 seconds extra. So, fortunately I'm actually getting like nice spawn energy here. They're all kind of grouped up in one place where I can blow them all up. Hopefully avoid this guy's second shot. He goes for me, no. Yeah, fine. Open the door, please. Okay. Meant to use this to throw at a bot, but...
Oh, I got really lucky there.
I might throw that one away. Yeah, this is why I don't have 30 more record, because it is such a painful grind. Because you get, 10 minutes in, and then you have to deal with this bar energy. So here, what I do is, I'm not sure where it is, reset and pray that I actually hit the checkpoint. Yep, okay, good. And basically, this may not look like much, but I can jump did not expect that to work. Missed incinerator skip. Okay. But as you can see here now, I don't have any bots I have to deal with, like you may have seen. Austamate had to deal with, so I can just run free through, and hopefully get to show you guys incinerator skip.
Incinerator skip is only touchy because the bomb countdown is very awfully mapped, I guess.
Yeah, it's very hard to count when it's gonna hit. Even after I've done it so many times, I can't really count.
And it's very hard too with this sound, with the loudness of the place as well.
Yeah, unfortunately. So basically, for incinerator skip, imagine we bounced up to the platform up there. That's what incinerator skip is, and it skips this whole cutscene. Fortunately, neither of us hit it, and that's going to be 30 seconds time loss.
I think it's a minute.
I remember it being 30, and I'm going to hope it's 30, because I prefer not losing a minute.
remember the reactor and then a painful tickling.
I mean, if I have to, I have to. Not much you can
The
do.
next thing I remember, my
And
systems
because
were rebooted.
resetting checkpoint isn't worth it either, because there's no checkpoint to reset to. It's all the way back to the beginning.
Did
Oh, not
something
beginning.
happen?
Beginning of that
Kind
section.
of. I can't
Either
quite
way,
explain
unless
it.
we severely
I was
mess
just
up these
worried.
next few, we will still be
Something
severely
like that.
underestimate.
Yeah,
Pretty
far
handy to
underestimate,
have
which will
around,
compensate
you
for
know.
having to down patch.
New route detected. Let's head onwards, Arya. We only need to complete a few more puzzle areas before the entropy device is fully charged.
All right, let's do it. It's good to have you back, Astra.
14 while I wait.
These last two levels, there's not a lot to 14. It's mainly when we get to the very last level that they throw everything they have left at you.
Yeah.
But again, we generally just skip that. I'm gonna miss this.
Yeah. I had that issue last night. Not last night, night before.
Yeah.
Alright. Lost a run to
Detecting route.
this.
We
Maybe
are
I probably didn't
2
lose a run to
areas
this, but
away
I
from the main control
quit
deck.
a run to
Now that the
missing
reactor
this
is
jump
stable,
7
we just
times
need
in
to
a
finish
row.
charging the entropy device
Okay,
by
so that time I
completing
got
a
it.
few
So
more
it
puzzles.
just skips us having to...
Down there.
I don't even know what
it's
intended
a lot.
is. That's what I've done the entire time. I think it skips us having to get rid of this
Please elaborate.
mistake
I
area.
don't know. I don't
So
think
that we
this is
can
the
wind
first time
ourselves
you've been
back
on
up.
this journey, Astra.
I have no clue either. There we go. Okay, good. We might have to drop that big
Yeah.
thing. and fly.
Intended is something we both haven't done for months now.
Yeah, in a moment. And even then, I don't think I did the entire game on my own.
Yeah.
really quick and then
Our first playthroughs of this were watched by our speedrunner friend who is a mod for this game. So we kind of got told a lot of stuff on how to skip it.
yeah, kind of preemptively learn double jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I tried to do like as much as I could intended, but if I couldn't, I just like skip it.
Yeah, I didn't.
One thing we can do here is for this little raising part, that little bit of railing it just doesn't have collision, which makes it nice and easy to jump up rather than have to like jump the debris. Sorry. Oh, is it? Oh, it is. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if there we go. But yeah, you can use a bit of non-collidable geometry to avoid having to go through a ton of debris. Make that more convenient.
Puzzle exercises are rated
Do you think my mic was too high or too low?
Sections
Low.
1,
Okay,
2,
good.
3,
I think I moved it down because I could hear myself
on the
breathing way
entry
too much.
center are
But
currently
I
destroyed
just
and
moved so you couldn't hear me at all.
This is the fastest route.
So 14 is a level that Perigon and I are very close on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure our times are less than 5 seconds apart, if I'm remembering correctly.
I'm not entirely sure what our times are, to be fair. I don't know what any of my golds are.
So this so 15 is probably going to be a make or break for who wins this.
Yeah, considering how close we are already.
Yeah. Because 14 is not the hardest except for one of the end
I would like
puzzles,
to inform you that your chance of survival is currently
which
22.4.
is basically up to the game on whether you get it or not.
It's actually higher than I expected.
I genuinely don't know what's wrong with our rewinds right now.
Yeah.
They just won't work. It's a bit annoying, particularly for double jumps and how often they are. You're just not able to rewind it. It's a bit of a
Yeah, that's gonna suck for this level.
yeah.
Not trying to alarm you, but the center is
Fully
3 large
risky.
shockwaves away from total
Because if you do
annihilation.
double jumps too late,
Like
basically you'll just like kick it
extremely
into the
large
ground.
collision approaching the
with-
center.
Or it'll
Recommendation?
fling into space.
Yeah, one of the two, and both of them mean you have to reset up the trick. Because if you miss a double jump normally, you can just like rewind it and try again. It's not the worst, but if you kick it away, you have to set up everything again. I'm gonna retry that. There we go. Nice save. But yeah, finally we get to see bridge cubes, tall cubes again. I think for the first time since 9. So they took a bit of a break. We pretty much skip it, except for getting that one. I think there was an old route for that kind of rewind there, that I'm not sure why it was done, because that just seems so much faster.
It is majorly slower than what we do now.
Yeah, used to like fly up a pole that was also inconsistent to climb up, and also you could just fall off and like get squashed. It's just an overcomplication. It doesn't save any time, and it's a pain. So started using intended. This bit of a wall climb is I'm gonna take really slow.
Yeah, that can get very risky.
Yeah, 'cause little bits of weird collision in the wall just kick you off the wall if you're not like careful or slow. And obviously that means you have to catapult all the way back up and run around. Ton of stuff that wastes time, so preferably we don't fall off.
Ugh, I'm really starting to feel the heat from my earth now.
Okay, I actually did
I
get
didn't
that.
want to say
It's good to
anything,
know.
but you've been sweating all over me for the past hour.
I think 14 may actually have like the highest amount of bridge cubes or tall cubes. I don't like looking at the bridge cubes because they're only introduced like mid 9 or mid 8, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
And this is like every level. I also forgot how to do the puzzle, which is wonderful. And there's also an issue I had in my world record. Because unfortunately, when you don't get enough attempts for the end, you forget how to play the end. Like
moving.
nice. Thankfully, I did a little bit of practice earlier on with this, not later levels, but even then, they are a bit weird sometimes. Nice. Yeah, there's a bit of a riskier strat that I'm not going to go for here, where instead of just taking the catapults normally, with this one, instead of just going there, you can kind of land on the side of there and walk around, and it saves like a slight bit of time if done well, but
It is extremely risky to do.
yeah, because sometimes it just doesn't let you around for like no reason really. Rewind please. Yes. I didn't go for it. I don't think I will ever really go for it because it's late in the run and I don't want to risk something that bad. This is the final one of 14, yeah. You have to gain a bit. I'll just gain it all in 16.
You can try to. So we are going into what is pretty much the last level, apart from a cutscene level.
Yeah.
So this level is just literally everything that you've seen up until now. It throws whatever it can at you.
You got bots, laser cubes, tool cubes, bridge cubes, the whole lot.
Now those fans are very finicky on this version. I don't know how they are in earlier ones.
Not later ones.
Later ones, yeah.
But like, just if you use this fan, if you do just a walk, you don't make the gap. I do a jump here that brings me all the way to the top. You don't have to do that, but you have to just jump in general to make it across, which is weird.
If you don't time it right, it is incredibly inconsistent.
Detecting approaching shockwave from the cataclysmic event on Earth. We're
I'm
almost
about to
in
get
the
shot
main track. We
twice.
should hurry.
No, I'm just gonna.
I'm
Save
guessing
this.
nothing good happens if that
Good
hits
idea.
us.
I shall refer back
I'm
to the
already
egg
behind. Don't want to get further
eventually.
behind.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's far behind us.
Got it.
Safing it's gonna put me around a full puzzle behind. This one also is a bit of a like an annoying one. You have to make sure that laser is actually hitting the receptacle when you.
It's got to be like right in the center.
A few more
Yeah,
puzzle areas
that was a
and
bad
it
idea.
should
I
be
should
ready.
have like redid that.
Good to
Why is
hear,
this not
'cause
working?
my brain hurts.
The following puzzles generate
This
the
is not
most
helping me.
entropy yield out of all the puzzles in the
Please
center.
hit the
You're
receptacle.
doing great.
Oh my!
So you'll see a lot of the time we like try and make the laser cubes flick upwards. For a long time we were throwing them at the ground thinking it helped.
It's not.
It does quite the opposite.
Yeah, just letting them go while moving backwards is the best. That's gonna be a nice little bit of time loss. Unfortunately.
This is a level I am not very adept at though.
Yeah, but
Oh, I just forgot what I was doing.
well, I'll do my
Entropy
best to
device
catch up.
almost charged. We're very
I
close.
believe you can.
Once we
I
rewind Earth,
definitely believe I can too.
The
for
Entropy
sure.
Center automatically sends the cataclysm
Oh, to be
data
fair, I'm
to
only
Earth
like a
once
puzzle
it's been
behind when I do
rerouted,
this one
allowing them
faster,
to realign
question
their
mark.
future to a
Yeah.
more positive outcome.
Depends
You
if you do
definitely do.
Okay, you do the risky jump now. Oh, you also don't do that. You early rewind. So this one is a lot of like just moving it to places through these what do you call them? Transformers. Yeah, you move. I actually don't think that the button. Moving back and forth. That's pretty much only a thing in 15, and it's not even used that often. Although it is pretty confusing sometimes to learn. This one, oh, I might make the jump. Oh, I'm not gonna get the rewind there. You get an early rewind there after you land on it. You can move it back over there faster. That is unfortunate.
No, it can hit it. It's just, oh no.
Yeah, sometimes rewinds are like genuinely just inconsistent. Like they just, you'll have it hit the laser when you hit reset, and then it will refuse to go back to that position, but then you'll rewind it and it will go to the position. It's weird. I'm gonna have to, okay.
It is severely wonky,
Yeah,
much like most of the game.
laser cubes are just a bit weird because of how they lag behind. And I think rather than checking like the, what am I doing? Checking the cube's rotation when it resets, it's just kind of where you're looking, I guess. And if you're not looking directly at it, it won't rewind directly at it. I'm choking now, I know near the end.
Don't worry, so am I.
It's like a good one.
We are nearing the end though,
Yes.
so that is the good part.
There we go. So unfortunately, I'm going to choke a bit of time. do believe I might do the next one considerably faster. I think consistently faster. So I'll just get it all there. Easy. Definitely easy. If my rewind work, then it's easy.
If I actually remember how to double jump.
What? Okay. That should not have worked. That game's giving me too much benefit. Normally what should happen there is it should kick it to the ground. Somehow it didn't, and I got a second bounce off of it.
Once this is complete,
I'm not
the
necessarily...
entropy device should have sufficient energy to be enabled.
Something's going on. Gonna ignore that. Not sure what I was going on about either. There was just a massive bridge just flipping around that level. For no reason. Also, I've messed up that. There we go. This is a bit of a riskier jump as well. And I've missed it. And my cube is gone.
Don't worry, I got it and then didn't get the next jump.
My cube is not respawning either.
Oh.
It's just gone. That's lovely.
My analysis
Oh, this
detected
light
this
is
should
so
be the
good.
last puzzle area. Once this is complete,
So I'll try that
the
again.
entropy device should have
No
sufficient
idea where
energy
my
to be
cube went
enabled.
there, but got it again. And yeah, here is a bit of a riskier jump. You have to get like right at the back of this catapult, hold D or A, and then let go of it at some point, and then jump across. Hopefully my cube didn't disappear this time. Good. As you can see, that jump is like a lot harder than it looks.
It is very precise.
Yeah. But coming up to the end of this level here might be the last level of this act.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot how to ping pong. Yeah, this is the only use of ping pong jumps, I think they're called. If you go back and forth between two bounce pads, you slowly gain more height.
There used to be multiple instances, but
Entropy
there was
sensor
just
master
better
puzzle
routes
operative
found, so
badge has been sent to your quarters.
It's ping pong because you kind of go back and forth. Pretty good name in my opinion.
I can't believe we did it.
I knew you had
But
it in
now
you.
we're basically in the final part of the end game,
The entrance to the
where
main
there's
deck
no
should
more
be at the end
puzzles
of this bridge.
necessarily. You're just escaping bots.
yeah, which isn't too bad.
Now that you've got your gun, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
If it was without the gun, this would be a lot more painful, but we do, so it's fine. Oh, there's someone in it. Yeah, this segment is a lot more walking. There's a bit of a skip we do near the end of this long walking section.
You may have noticed I didn't have any bots in that section while Perigon did. That's because I walk along the edge and skip a trigger.
Yeah, which I don't know how to do, so unfortunately you may have gained a little bit on me. I'm also past that part, so yeah. There's a few, I don't know like every bot skip there is, but I only use like the ones that I deem to be, that was stupid. I meant to click there, but I jumped, so I just kind of blew myself under damage. But here's the final little skip of the game, second to last skip of the game. There's some bots that spawn here, they come around, but we can just kind of
Any ideas, Astra?
walk around them.
Unfortunately,
It's supposed to be where I reignited with E, the little robot we saw in the beginning, right there. But that's slow, so we just run around. And as I said, final part of 15 was the last cutscene, besides 16.
Yes.
And
the main deck should be right up ahead.
yeah,
There is no real way for me to catch up now.
not really, no. It's kind of decided, unless I fall off the catapult. That's like the only way you can possibly catch up, and then it's guaranteed you win.
Yes.
But I don't think that's going to be happening, unfortunately.
No. We've got about 4 minutes left,
Yeah,
roughly.
glad you know, because I don't really have any mental checkpoints for 15. Gotta wait for this. They're gonna power up the entropy devices to try and rewind the Earth back. Because we've got enough energy, but it explodes. I don't really know what the point of rewinding Earth is at this point, because like everyone on it will be dead. And I don't know if we're rewinding the people on it necessarily. If that's what the guns can do. Oh well.
It just rewinds the Earth as a whole.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
Okay, on it.
Yes,
I knew this was
pretty much
easy.
final section of the game. We're gonna do a walking section, rewind something, and then walking section, and then you're done. I'm gonna miss that. Okay, so unfortunately I missed a little skip. Cool. Well, I don't think that's the name, but there is a trigger that I will have hit that will slowly cause this gun to rotate upwards, which means that I'll be walking up an upwards slope, which will slow me down.
It's not enough for me to catch up, unfortunately, but
You know, you can see like my jump is like doing absolutely nothing right now because we're rotated up, but we're doing actually something. Don't know if jumping helps, but I'm gonna do it anyways. It's pretty much the entire game.
but as you'll see, Perigons is facing the Earth. Mine is not really.
Yeah. It's gonna be nice and close though.
It is.
Surprisingly. I would have assumed that Risky 13 would save a lot more than it did. Here basically we're gonna rewind this,
Rewind the Entropy device.
and then it'll throw us into 16, which I might actually want to turn down game audio for, because it is incredibly loud music for no reason. Unless that's just my computer, I don't know.
No, it isn't very low.
It's working.
We can technically get down this area and just start walking back, but I'm not going to do it here, as if I die, I get set way before the cutscene.
We're being exposed
Yeah.
to the Entropy core. Do you...
Really not worth it right now.
But I'm not sure you'll make it. It's my directive to keep my puzzle operatives safe.
I know.
Earth is coming back together again. That's an molten ball.
I think I understand.
Back to normal Earth. Hopefully people are alive on it.
Okay. I trust you, Arya.
The fade's gonna,
It's been
screen's
nice
gonna
having
fade
this
out,
journey with you.
and time will be at the end of the level when credits roll, and I can pull that out. So might as well just like say final things, because there's not much to it. It's just W Simulator.
It is very much a walking simulator from now on.
So yes, thank you for having us here at AusSpeedruns and for downpatching the game at, you know, short notice. Well, not necessarily short notice, but downpatching it at the event, so we didn't have to play on 111, because that would be a disaster.
We would still be going.
Yeah, we would probably most likely be like starting 15 at like best,
Yeah.
because we genuinely have to resolve puzzles because they will have been patched.
Yes, the puzzle solutions are very different in the versions. Not necessarily for intended, but for the ways we do it. They block off certain areas, or they make certain tricks not work.
Yeah, and funneling, but I don't know if you mentioned that.
And there's funneling, which makes everything a lot harder.
Yeah. I guess it's like a bit of writing on the floor. I've never really read it. Solve puzzles.
Which is actually us writing it,
Oh.
which I didn't explain earlier. But all these black figures that we've been seeing throughout the game are us in different timelines where we failed to rewind the Earth.
Right. Alright, yeah, pretty much I literally have to do nothing here for like a minute.
Yeah, I think if you hold W, it speeds you up at the end.
Well, yeah, when you're getting near the floor, but here you just like levitate across the Earth. So I guess if there's anything, last things you want to call out, or last donations, there's like not many you have.
Righto. I have a couple of donations. $20 from Anonymous. This donation is for the Entropy Center run. And then we had $46 from Man in the Crowd. Super hyped to see my mate play some Smash, and then we can fish for some bass. Let's beat cancer together. P.S. $46 on Black Spyro. It's the best color. Let's take the lead and not give Black. Now, words today. Let's not give back. Green is so last year.
Yes. Coming up to the end here, and moved over to the good timeline where Earth isn't a molten rock, and do a very, 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 very slow walking section. Like, it doesn't look long, but you walk incredibly slowly forward for no reason. like, this is your walking speed. You move like side to side really fast, but if you go to side, you also now go this speed, so gonna just have to sit here and wait till we get to the end and roll the credits for time. Very, very, very interesting end to the game.
It's basically just showing what we've been through in different timelines and stuff.
We're going back to where we started, back in our room, waking up, and going to the computer. Yes, time will be very soon. So time in.
As soon as the credits show up. Which is taking a while.
There, time. Took like fucking ages to roll the credits. Jeez. Sorry. They're done, there you go.
There we go. Very
Second
close
time.
race.
What was the time?
1:49.54 and then 1:50.06.
Right.
Not bad.
Longer than I thought, but you know, not terrible. Still
Yes.
underestimate. So yes.
So again, thanks for having us. Thanks for everyone for coming and the donations.
Yes.
Cool.
No,
Come-
we're good.
Coming up next, we have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate All Challengers Classic Mode run. Stick around.